Nicaragua has been a country who has been under the domination of a dictatorship, the Somoza's dictatorship, for more than 40 years, and it has done a lot of harm to the country. It's killed a lot of people.
Wait, it don't make no kind of sense. Pretty soon there's gonna be no room for sitting on the bench. Better decide which side you're on. Ship goes down before too long. If left is right, then right is wrong. You better decide which side you're on. Too bad for the gay revolution. This is as far as you get. And if you think you're free, well listen to me. You ain't seen nothing yet. All gonna feel the backlash of puritanical power, kicking us down when we're on the ground, gonna be their finest hour. Better decide which side you're on. The ship goes down before too long. If left is right, then right is wrong. You better decide which side you're on. Too late, you trendy thinkers, your time is running out. No more time to wonder why. No more time for doubt. Joseph Reed and White House, they're out to get your guts. Better decide which side you're on. Forget those damn butts.
Well, I started working with the Sandinistas movement in 1970. I worked in Nicaragua until 1975. I was involved with a lot of work, information work, and communications work, and all other kinds of clandestine activities.
The crisis in Nicaragua began in 1909 with the occupation of this Central American country by U.S. Marines. In 1926, General Sandino rallied a guerrilla army, and by 1933 had forced the U.S. Marines out of Nicaragua. But before leaving the country, the Marines organized and trained a large National Guard. Anastasio Somoza, father of the present ruler of Nicaragua, was chosen as commander. In 1934, Sandino was killed by Somoza's National Guard, and 2 years later Somoza became the Nicaraguan president. The Somoza dynasty had been born. But the example of Sandino and his revolutionary tactics lived on. At this moment, the Sandinista National Liberation Front prepares to continue the armed struggle.
People from all kinds of social sectors. We have workers, peasants, students, women. I mean, the Sandinistas movement is a movement that has taken most of the population of Nicaragua.
Hey boy, what the hell are you? Sandinista?
Well, sir, it's like this. A little while ago, the National Guard came and took my kid brother away, 'cause they say he is a terrorist. The poor devil cried like a dog run over by a car. But the sergeant claimed that Nicanor was a communist bandit, and they dragged him from the house by the legs, by the hair, by the arms. He's just 14. He can't shoot a pistol or a gun. What I think was wrong, as far as I can tell, is that he is the same age as the guys who attacked the National Guard last week outside the Grand Hotel. Something else? No. No, sir. It is a lie. It's the kind of thing that the Guard will invent to take away the innocent and the weak. They took him on suspicion, and that's all. And that is not being a communist. But I swear on my mother's grave that if the National Guard doesn't give me my brother back, with all my heart, I have to say that I too am Sandinista.
How does the Sandinista front get weapons? Where do the weapons come from?
We get them mainly from the United States government. The United States government gives weapons to the National Guard, and the Sandinista front takes them away from the Guard.
And from the point of view of ammunition supplies?
Well, it is known that arms can be bought all over the world. There are even submarines for sale if one has the money to buy them.
A criticism of the front, especially in the North American press, is that if the front wins, or when the front wins the fight, it is going to transform Nicaragua into a Marxist dictatorship. Do you think this criticism is valid from the point of view of your program?
In the first place, the Sandinista front does not claim to be Marxist. It claims simply to be Sandinista. It is a pluralistic political movement. Marxist and non-Marxist are fighting together. There are also many Christians in the movement, also Christian Marxist and Christian non-Marxist, and others who are neither Marxist nor Christians, but simply revolutionaries. With respect to a new dictatorship, that is impossible, and the guarantee is given by our own people. Our people are now fighting heroically for freedom. The youth of Nicaragua, boys and also girls, 20 years old, 15 years old, even 12 years old, are fighting and giving their lives for freedom. These people who fight so heroically for freedom are never going to permit another dictatorship or any more oppression.
Do you believe, from the Sandinista point of view, that the last offensive was a defeat or a victory? In the first place, from the political point of view.
From the political point of view, and also the military point of view, it was a victory. It liberated the main cities of the country. This was not accomplished by the Sandinistas alone, but by all of the people. It was then clearly seen that the entire country was Sandinista. However, it was with the price of much blood from the civilian population. There were not many Sandinista casualties. But after the fighting had ended, the National Guard and the mercenaries killed indiscriminately, and there were between 6,000 and 10,000 dead from the civilian population. Also, the cities were destroyed by the Air Force, bombed, even with napalm.
When Esteli rose against the Somoza regime in September 1978, his National Guard unleashed a devastating artillery and air attack. Esteli was once a pleasant resort city of 35,000. Ideally located in the Segovia Mountains and surrounded by pines, it was a gentle place where many Nicaraguans went to escape the tropical heat. Once the military operations had ceased, 25,000 people left the city, and over 3,000 lay under the rubble.
My name is Alex Palacios, and I represent the Human Rights Commission of Nicaragua to the Inter-American Human Rights Commission in Washington. And right here with me I have this book of 81 pages containing all the violations of the human rights in Nicaragua. They found Somoza guilty. He's telling his stories about the guerrillas and all these things are communists, but the country people, all Nicaraguan people are with the guerrillas, and they know they are not a communists. They are fighting for their freedom. We have Somoza for 43 years in power, and for us it's enough. We have right here in Costa Rica 30,000 people who have left the country. In Honduras we have another 30,000 people who left the country because the killing the Somoza is doing. He bombed his own cities. He destroyed 4 cities. If nobody in the world has destroyed his own cities like Somoza did, instead of doing the opposite, to evacuate the person or the people who have nothing to do with the war or the civil war, but he didn't do that. He just bombed the city when all the people was in town. In one of the instances, the army cut the genitals of the one man and put it in his mother's mouth. And was a lot of people killed and a lot of people wounded. And right now Nicaragua is suffering a lot.
Nicaragua is a very small country, and it was an unknown country. It is our revolution that has now put Nicaragua in the world news. And in my travels through many countries, in all continents, I have received overwhelming manifestations of solidarity with our revolution, especially in Latin America. The Latin American people consider this revolution their own. In fact, the revolution in Nicaragua does not only belong to Nicaragua, it is the revolution of Latin America which is succeeding in Nicaragua.
At this moment, the Sandinista National Liberation Front fights to destroy, by revolutionary means, the Somoza tyranny. For this goal, it has resorted to armed struggle, in which the Nicaraguan people have participated enthusiastically and decisively. That is the purpose of the Sandinista National Liberation Front, to overthrow the Somoza tyranny by force and establish a new society in our country.
In Nicaragua, those who are fighting for the revolution are not doing it to kill. They are doing it to give their lives for others. When they go into combat, they do not think of killing, but of sacrificing themselves.